Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. We're tracking spring storms and spring high pressure. It's not all rough weather. At the moment, high pressure is expanding in the New Zealand area. The stormy weather from Wednesday moving out past the Chatham Islands and actually sinking back down into the Southern Ocean. Now we've got high air pressure coming back in here in this yellow zone. There is another big low pressure zone over Australia's southeastern corner, and then mostly high pressure out in the west, although there is a very weak low pressure zone there. So generally settling down in the New Zealand area, and you might have noticed that with the lower temperatures this morning. Tonight is another cold night as well. Here is the departure from normal tonight. So the areas in dark blue are 4 to 8 degrees lower than they normally are for this time of the year. So this is normal weather, but basically, you know, we've had a lot of mild airflows lately, so when you get a cold event like this, that's why it goes into that departure from normal. So most of New Zealand will be colder again tonight. There could be some frosts around the South Island, maybe in some very isolated parts of the North Island as well. They're likely to be very light though. And then we go into tomorrow, and the departure from normal during the daytime swings the other way. So goodbye to the cold snap. The only place still a little bit cool is Napier and Mahia Peninsula. Everybody else in the green is back to average, and in the yellows and reds, you're leaning warmer than average, back to highs of 16s and 17s and 18s through inland areas. So what a change it will certainly be bringing in. So there it is on Friday. And why is it warm? Because of the airflow from up here around New Caledonia coming down and around and into the South Island. That's part of the reason you're seeing those temperatures lifting up, and the fact that it's a bit of a westerly breeze. Still a little bit cooler, as I say, on that eastern side, but generally speaking, things are calming down. A bit stormy though over around Australia, with Victoria, New South Wales and coastal Queensland all getting some wet weather, and Tasmania right under the low, so it might actually calm down after some windy weather has passed by you. You can also see that weak low I was just talking about just to the north of Perth. So into the weekend, that low in Perth moves in, brings a few showers, whereas the low here over in Australia drifts further out to sea, but this is where the winds come back. Severe gales coming in for Hobart, Melbourne, and maybe even Sydney, as that storm deepens as it moves offshore on its way to New Zealand. But Saturday's pretty settled in New Zealand, except for this northerly breeze, which will pick up, helping to lift temperatures even further. And so we've got rain coming back in with that front and that low. Heavy rain on the west coast, with totals here getting up over 170, maybe 200 millimetres. So this is quite a big rain event about to come through over a 2-day period. And by the way, this starts at 9 o'clock on Saturday night, going through till 9 o'clock on Monday. Eastern areas don't have very much in the way of rain, 0.1 to 5 millimetres, and up around Auckland and Waikato, 10 to 15. So not huge amounts further to the north. It's really the west coast, Mount Taranaki, and maybe Eastern Bay of Plenty in the ranges that get the heaviest falls as we go through the weekend. Sunday, so the low from Australia. Now it deepened on Saturday quite rapidly, but by Sunday, starting to sort of unravel again. So it comes into New Zealand and falls apart. It dumps all that rain that we just talked about, drives in some windy weather. So we're likely to see gales, maybe severe gales. So that means there could be Met Service wind warnings and rain warnings as we go through the next few days. But it's certainly going to be mild, with that subtropical flow coming down for the North Island and mild nor'westers coming in for the South Island. So next week kicks off with more rain coming into western and northern areas. As we saw, the totals may not be that great though, the further north and the further east you are. Windy westerlies blowing through across the country. Otherwise, conditions are easing back a little bit. And our final map for Tuesday shows a bit of a colder southerly coming into the lower South Island, windy westerlies elsewhere. So absolutely classic spring weather. And speaking of spring, here's the next storm system coming into Western Australia. Our weather pattern at the moment is textbook spring. We're getting high pressure, low pressure, hot days, cold days. It's all getting in the mix now. So welcome to that sort of middle part of the spring season. We'll be expecting a lot more variety as we go through the rest of the month as well. That's all from me. We'll see you again on Friday with our next update. Plus, we'll do a special Australian update as well.